All right, so for the repository, let's go ahead and create a class and then simply call it as payment and then repository. And this will be an interface. This will extend and then CRUD repository. This will be payment like that, and then the ID of that is long. So this is the type of the actual ID. Now let's go inside of payment and say that this is an entity, right? And this will be the actual ID. And then right here, let's simply say that this will be a generated value, right? So this will be 0, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, right? So we don't want to be generating this value right here. Next, what we need to do is actually test that we can insert a payment. So you see right here, we could actually have a foreign key, right, to our customer ID. But this course is not so much about, JPA, right? I want to teach you how to test things properly, right? But, usually what you would do is actually make sure that whatever value that you insert for the customer exists in the actual database, right? So again, if you want to learn more about JPA, go ahead and check my website where you can learn about JPA. So now let's go ahead and open up the repository and let's create a test for it. So Command-Shift-T, create a new test and simply say OK. Now let me go ahead and steal some code. So let me go to the package inside of customer. Let's grab all of this, right? And then put it there. And we also don't need this static import. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and simply say private, and let me put this full screen. So private, and then payment repository, and then test, and this will be at auto wire. Now let's go ahead and simply create a test. So should and then insert and then payment. Now given a payment, and let me put this like this so you can see. So given a payment, right? So payment equals to new payment. So right here, let's just give an ID for now, right? Let's go ahead and simply say this will be a random UID for the customer. But as I said, this should really be, right, a valid customer, right? So now let me go ahead and simply say this will be a new and then big decimal, and let's simply say this will be 10. I think this will be US dollars. So the currency USD, and then description, or actually source. So let's simply say card 123, and then description donation, just like that. And let me put this everything just like that so you can see the payment. There we go, and end this with semicolon. Now let's go ahead and simply say under test dot and then save, and what we're going to save is the actual payment, right? Now let's go ahead and simply say that then, so we're going to say under test dot and then find by ID, right? So the ID will be 1. So let me extract this into an ID. There we go. Long payment ID, find by payment ID. There we go. And then payment optional. There we go. And now I'm going to say assert that, and then payment ID optional, and let me import that. Dot is present, so on a new line, and then dot has value satisfying. Let me call this P for payment, and then right here I'm going to say assert that, and then P, right? So this is what we actually know. And then dot is equal to payment. There we go. Now let me delete that, end that with semicolon, and let's run this test. So if I run it, if it fails, then I know that something went wrong and I need to go and fix it. And there you go, something has failed, so it's okay. So let's actually see the differences. So the actual assertion, so this assertion right here failed. So let's see the differences. So what are the differences here? So the differences are, so okay, so these contents are identical, right? So it fails. So I think the reason why it's failing is, so let's go ahead and check the way we did the customer repository. So here we actually said is equal comparing field by field, right? So we could actually do the same here. So is equal and then comparing field by field. And if I run this test, this should pass. And there we go. Yes, so this passes, right? So the reason why is equal is failing is because we need to, so inside of payment, we need to override the equals and hash code. So if I do that, so equals and hash code, and just use, it doesn't really matter, just use the default that you have there. So I'm going to use equals and hash code from Java 7, next, 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 and then I'm going to select all of the members here, finish. There we go. Now if I run the test again with is equal, and if I remove that, so just like that. So if I run the exact same test with is equal to, this should pass. So if I now insert that, there we go, that works, right? So there we go. So you can see that we created the repository and we have tested it, right? Join me in the next one. See ya.